All right, welcome to the first business spotlight at Design for Agents. We have someone very, very special who's going to break us in for 2023. This guy is a real estate agent, top producing. He's award winning. He's an investor, but most importantly, he's a great father. He's been a great friend to us and the people that I surround myself with. I want to introduce Omar David Tovar.
Thank you. What's up, Alex? How are you guys?
What's going on? What's going on?
2023. We got to get ready.
Yeah, man, it's gonna. You ready to crush it? I feel like your team
Yes.
is ready there. I already saw some bottle of champagne popping and all that good stuff.
We got to get started. We got to continue. We can't stop now.
Yeah, man. So we got a couple of minutes before we actually hopped on this to actually catch up and talk about things. So I just wanted to really dive deep on you making that transition from being a real estate agent to an investor, because I feel like when everybody comes into the real estate game, their goal is to eventually be an investor, and
Right.
you've actually lived it. You've went from being a real estate agent, a success, finding success in it and diving into it. So could you tell us a little bit about that journey, some of
Yes.
the struggles you may have had, maybe things that someone could look out for in your pursuit of being an investor?
Right. So the first thing for me was when I got into real estate. We all realize and we all tell our buyers that it's not a smart thing to do to pay rent or to pay somebody else's mortgage. So the one thing that always stuck to my head is, all right, I'm a real estate agent now, so I am going to be helping people, or I aspire to help people trust me with one of the biggest decisions of their life, which is to purchase or to sell their home. And I'm still renting. So I have to find a way to stop renting, become a homeowner, so that I can now educate all of these new home buyers and actually live through the process, so that I can, see the process hands on and be able to know the ins and outs, dealing with lawyers, dealing with contracts, dealing with the attorneys. I'm sorry, not the loan officers, the banking, the credit, the proof of income, all that good stuff, right? So once I figured that out, I didn't stop until I made that happen. And how did I do that? Very simple. I started helping people out during my first 2 years of real estate, doing a lot of rentals.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally got the opportunity to help two families out with the sale of two houses that they wanted to sell. So I said to myself, this is my opportunity to prove myself that I am capable of helping people buy or sell real estate. But with this money that I'm going to make, the first thing that I'm going to do is use this money to invest it and stop renting in Queens and being able to buy my first property to be able to pay my own mortgage and kind of like save that money. So it wasn't an easy transition for me, because at that time I was doing a lot of rentals and I didn't really have enough income to
Mm-hmm.
be able to prove, which is one of the things that I learned. You need to prove to the bank that you have enough income.
Yeah, I
So,
actually just want to highlight that, right? So a
yeah,
lot of real estate agents, we struggle with that because we want to write off everything, but then when you want to buy a house, you're not able to because you're not
yeah,
showing enough income.
exactly. So that was one of the first obstacles that I found to be for me as a real estate agent, as an independent contractor, to be an obstacle for me. So I get creative. I'm the type of person that when I hit a bump in the road, I don't just stop and turn my back away. I kind of like figure out how to go around that bump, how to go around that rock. All right, if this is not possible this way, then how can I make it possible? So you have to be very ambitious and you really have to want it. And it's the law of attraction. If you really get obsessed with it, it's eventually going to happen. So I became very obsessed with the fact that, all right, I'm helping these two people sell their homes. I'm going to sell their houses. And even before I closed on the deals, in my mind, I was already, I'm going to count with this money and I'm going to invest these two commission checks into buying my first property. I don't know how, but when I close these deals, this money is going to go towards that.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I had a childhood friend that I actually went to school with. He called me and he said, "Brother, listen, I want you to help me buy a house. I want to invest, this and that. I see you're in real estate." Somebody that I actually grew up with, somebody that I went to school with. He works in HVAC and he had over $100,000 income. Um, he had some funds available to purchase this house. So I said to myself, this is a very good friend of mine. Let me think now like a business person that I am, and let me present an opportunity to this person that I trust, that I know he's a responsible guy, somebody that I've known for many years. I sat down with him and I told him, listen, brother, let's become business partners. And that's how I bought my first property. I partnered up with a childhood friend. I told him I have funds available, or I'm going to have funds available because I still hadn't closed on the other deal. But I was very being positive, you know.
Yeah.
You want to buy a house? Let's put our money together. We're gonna do the loan under your name, and I'll take care of all of the real estate aspect of it. But on top of that, what we're going to do is that we're gonna shoot for every 2 to 3 years to buy a new property somehow. And because I'm getting more into the whole real estate game, I'm gonna make sure I get myself enough educated enough so that we can continue to invest in properties. And this is the same person that I also bought Lady Maspeth with,
Mm-hmm.
literally 2 years later.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Lady Maspeth is one of his investment properties that he bought in Maspeth, Queens. It is a 3-family, right?
Right. It has 3 apartments.
Yeah. So it's
Three
a three.
families.
Yeah. So you have 3 apartments, and we actually did a video on that while it was still being renovated. I'll provide the link with this as well, so you guys can check out that interview, which was also really, really good. We kind of broke down a similar story, but you just went more in depth with it. I actually love the fact that you guys kind of came together
Yeah.
and really, really connected on that aspect, because that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't like. That's like house hacking, you can say,
Yeah.
right? Like you're pooling
Exactly.
two different people's incomes. He had a steady income, which allowed you to kind of get that funding, and you
Right.
were providing more of the cash assets and making sure that the house got renovated and fixed the way it was
Yeah.
supposed to, right?
This house we got for $550,000 almost 5 years ago, and right now it's worth 850, which is this house right here.
Nice. Yeah, I got a chance to check it out. It's a beautiful, beautiful house, and you guys have done amazing.
Yep.
Added all the barn doors, and you guys do amazing work together. I've seen what you guys done on other properties,
Yeah.
and you guys work really, really well together. So you were super fortunate to have that partner right off the bat.
Yeah. So one of the best advices that I could give everyone is don't be afraid to work in teams. I know sometimes it's very hard, especially where we come from, to trust other people, even to trust our own family. But sometimes we gotta break those chains of learning how to work together. And I believe that other cultures, that's what they do. If you look at Chinese cultures, Indian cultures, within their own family members, they kind of like help each other out. They make it happen. They just got married. They got to buy a house, and the uncle, the cousin, and the aunt, they're putting money together to lend it to the nephew so he could buy his own house. Whatever it is, real estate is a business. And if you treat it like a business and you respect it like a business and you learn it like a business, you can continue to use real estate to buy more real estate and to grow your portfolio and make you a multimillionaire, by the time that you retire.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the fact that you mentioned, like, how different cultures kind of come together and pool their money. I know somebody who, he's an Indian guy, and he was driving like a really, really nice car, and I was like, damn, man, that must have been expensive. It's like $100,000 car. And he was saying that, like, he still lives at home with his mom, dad, and his whole family, but they all share the payments on that car. And whenever somebody gets married, they move that person into the house and they add extensions on the house and make it
Yeah.
more valuable. And then what they do is, when they make the income, first thing gets paid off is the mortgage, right? Which is not even that much anymore because the parents bought the house. It's like
Yeah.
a small little payment. After that, they put a huge amount towards investing, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
They just buy new houses as much as they can, and that is going towards like this bigger LLC. So they're kind of building like this family empire just out of one household, which
Exactly.
is, if you look at it, it's just genius, right?
You have
So
to learn how to work in teams. You have to learn how to work in teams. You don't have to do it alone. You're not alone. And even the conversations with friends should be, how are we going to invest?
Yeah.
that's what it should be nowadays. Let's open up a business together. Let's buy some real estate together. Let's buy a building together. That's what should be the goal for everybody.
100%. You started in rentals, right? So
Yeah.
before you made that transition to being the big time investor that you are now, where you have like three or four different properties, right?
7.
Seven,
Yes.
seven different properties, right?
I
Before you
just closed
got
on
into
my
that,
seventh. A little bit, almost 3 weeks ago. I closed on the seventh one. God bless. Thank God.
yo, awesome. Congratulations, man.
Thank
Um,
you.
so you went from renting, right? Because you were a renter, right? So
Yeah.
you kind of believed in the rental system, so you did that. But then you also wanted to learn about buying, so you bought. But then on top of that, you started diving into working with buyers and sellers. What was your initial approach when it came to, like marketing and prospecting for new clients when you were kind of newer in the business?
Well, the one thing that I always say to myself, and I say to everybody who's getting into the industry, one of the things that have always helped me is treating clients like family, treating clients like close friends. When you meet somebody, you really have to make them understand that you're not here just to make money, that you're here because you really want to put yourself in their shoes to make this an enjoyable process for them or to execute whatever it is that they need help with. So that's one of the things that have always helped me. And when I was doing rentals, the reason why I started in rentals is because it was faster cash, but eventually, people started recommending me because of the customer service that I provided to all of these clients. When you treat people not like a client, but you make them feel like, listen, I'm treating you like if you were my mother, like if you were my brother, like if you were my blood cousin. It just gives you that different reminder for them, like where people start recommending you, and that's what really helped me a lot. I
So
made sure that
you became buyers and they referred you to their families and friends, right?
exactly,
Because you provided a really great experience.
exactly. You really, really have to make people feel like you're treating them like loyalty, like family. Like literally, like if you were my father, this is exactly how I would treat my father.
Yeah. So would you say you got it mainly through word of mouth? Like you would say you provided, your initial clients with such good service and you just followed up with them and connected with them, invited them out to places and stuff like that, and then they
Social,
referred you?
social media played a big part. Social media.
Okay,
And
cool.
yeah, the reason why social media is because social media allows for you to be in people's heads all the time if you post. And I've always been a poster, naturally. Even before I got into real estate, I was in the music industry. So I was always posting videos, music, little clips here, pictures here with this famous artist here. So I was always very active on social media. So as people saw me grow, from being a music artist to transitioning to the real estate industry, they kind of like saw me grow from a young adult to a man,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
people also connected with that. Wow, like now this guy is doing real estate, and wow, he just helped this person. So I also found ways to get creative with my videos, which you mentioned before, popping the champagne. My mother always, since I was a little kid, taught me that champagne is a symbol for celebration, for success, for good luck. And I said to myself, after every single closing, I want to pop a bottle of champagne because I want people to feel that this day is an important day of your life.
Hmm.
It's a chapter, and life is made of chapters. And right now, today, you allowed me to help you get here, and today you started a new chapter in your life, and it's a time to celebrate. And that's why I pop a champagne after every closing.
That's awesome. So one of the strategies you mentioned was social media, right? So obviously, I had the pleasure of doing one of your videos back in the day.
Yeah,
Uh, so you do like intricate videos, kind of like talking about the story of what happened for each person's case. Like this is what I like about your social media, right? Like you'll actually break down like some of the struggles that happened, right? Like I think it was Levittown that we it was like buying a house is not just buying a house. Like for
yeah,
the most part, there's always a backstory behind it,
yeah,
and the way you were able to illustrate that in your social media, it doesn't make it like dry and boring. It's like literally you're seeing from point A to point Z the struggles along the way. So
Yeah.
that's super important. What are some so now that you've gotten into listings, right? You're getting more listings and people are trusting you with their property to sell. What are some of the marketing strategies that you've kind of adopted besides social media that allows you to kind of go out there and market it effectively?
So one of the things that I do is if I, let's say for example Jackson Heights, right?
Hmm.
I already sold a couple of properties in Jackson Heights. So now I have enough properties to be able to go knock on some doors or maybe do some mailers where I'm letting other neighbors know that I am a local expert, that I am the person who have made it successfully to the closing, who made it successfully to the closing table on these properties, and I've sold them for top dollar, and I've sold them very quickly. One of the things that allows me to sell my properties very quickly is doing the right representation, the right marketing, good photography, something professional, and obviously doing the open houses and getting the people through the door. But that's what really has allowed me to continue, getting more listings. When I get a property for sale, I kind of like target that neighborhood. And when you target that neighborhood, if you have, let's say you start with one, that's fine. Then you try to get another one in the same neighborhood. Now you have two in the same neighborhood, and eventually, you want to kind of like spread the word that this guy is hot. This guy knows what he's doing. And
Hmm.
at the same time, word of mouth too. People refer you. Again, if you treat people like family, people are going to recommend you, and that's one of the bigger things that again that continues to help me. And social media, everything that I post is very real, is the human side of real estate, which is what we like to call it here at Executive Line. We are kind of like the human side of real estate. We don't just show the success, we show also the process, the struggles, the stories, and everything in between.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so natural.
Yeah, and I want to highlight a little bit of something you said is something I've heard from a lot of top producers as well, which is you get one listing in a specific area, right? You have to maximize that one listing. A
Yeah.
lot of agents, they kind of they get that one listing and then they either babysit it, don't really do much marketing and throw it on MLS, maybe put it on Zillow, whatever it is, but that's it, and it stops there. You
Right.
see it as an opportunity not only to help one person, but you're helping a community. If you have that mindset in mind, right? Like before every open house, you should be door knocking at least two or
Yeah.
three blocks around the neighborhood, just letting people know, like, hey, I have this open house, come by, check it out. If not, just come by for refreshers or whatever it is, right? Waving at neighbors, talking to people, letting them know, like, hey, this is
Exactly.
for sale, what houses are going for in the area. You know what I'm saying? Like really connecting with the community. It's not
Exactly.
like a rinse and repeat where it's just like, oh, you're just gonna put a sign out and then eventually you'll get more listings.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You kind of have to really maximize that opportunity. So I really wanted to highlight that because I feel like that's super important and it's something that I noticed that every top producer does.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I also wanted to dive in as well, because I know you mentioned it, you touched on it in regards to your story of becoming an investor. But now that you are an investor, right? Is there any strategies that you do that you kind of blend the both together? Because I feel personally that we're in an industry that's forever evolving, right? We're no longer real estate agents; we're real estate professionals. We have to have knowledge on multiple
Yeah.
planes, right? You can say, and one of the planes is investing because most real estate agents want to get into investing eventually. So my question is, as a real estate agent and a real estate investor, how do you blend both and also like maximize your opportunities for possibly maybe like finding an investment opportunity out there while you're doing your day-to-day real estate agent stuff?
So if you are getting into real estate, you must have it in your mind that you have to become a real estate investor. You have to own investment properties. Why? Because investment properties will secure your retirement. As real estate agents, we don't have the opportunities that a W-2 employees has, like 401k, or we could do this or this that. We kind of like independent contractors. So you have to put in your mind that you really have to work towards that goal of investing in real estate, and it's very simple. You just have to really close deals and use that money to make you money, which is the idea. And one of the things that I've learned is to go over the numbers. You want to make sure that as a real estate agent, if you're becoming successful, you're becoming known, you started getting listings, you started helping buyers, there might be an opportunity for you that will be presented eventually, and you have to be prepared to take that opportunity without getting scared. And that's what I've done. I've kind of prepared myself so that when any opportunity gets presented, I take it. When it comes to investing in real estate. So as a real estate agent, you should always be preparing yourself. If you're making commissions, have those commissions ready, because at any given time, somebody might call you and say, listen, I have this opportunity here. I want to sell this property. I want to come to you. Do you have any investors that may want to buy this property? And you may be that investor that has been looking for that opportunity. So you get that phone call. You say, you know what, Mr. Adams, you know what? Let me go look at the property because I may be interested in purchasing this property for myself. You go look at it. Does it need work? How much do you want for the property? You know, now you talking like an investor, and you're saying, all right, you know, if you're selling it for this price, it's going to need this much in renovation. So you look at your ARV, you know, your after repair value. If I rent it out, you look at the numbers. The way that I've been able to work the numbers around my investment properties is very simple. I look at how much I'm going to put down. This property, for example, I put down 5%. Maspeth property, we got with 3.5% down payment, which is the lowest possible. So what you want to do is you want to look at the numbers. What is my mortgage going to be if I put 3.5% down? Perfect. My mortgage is going to be $4,500 at, let's say, 4% interest rate. Amazing. Now, how much does this property need in renovation? It needs $150,000 to $200,000 in renovation. Amazing. How much am I getting this property for? $800,000. Great. So you're telling me that if I'm going to buy this property for $800,000, I fix it. Now that's $1 million already in the property. How much is it worth after I renovate it? Oh, let's look at the comps in the area. Oh, the 2-family, 3-family houses, they're selling for 1.2 to 1.4 million. Wow. Okay. The numbers start making sense.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now what are the rental comps in this area? There's going to be 3 apartments in this house. So if I'm going to put 3 bedrooms over 1 bedroom, how much money is that going to generate? Wow, the numbers look pretty good. It's going to generate almost $8,000 a month. So if I put 3.5% down, my mortgage is $4,500, but the property is going to generate almost $8,000.
No brainer.
Is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You have to have the capital ready for these opportunities.
Yeah. So what do you?
Here's my secret before I lose it, Alex. Here's my secret. When I'm looking for properties to invest, I don't come in as a real estate agent trying to make commission on the deal. The first thing I do is, hey, listen, I know you listed this property, and I already know that the price is good. I'm not interested in any commission. I'm coming in as a buyer. I'm an agent, just like yourself. Let me just get the opportunity to get this house for a good price. Agents respect that a lot. When you knock on the door and you say, I'm an agent, but you know what? I'm not interested in commission. I want to come in as a buyer. Please help me get this property for a good price. Now the listing agent can help you and represent you and be able to get your hands on a very good property for a very good price very quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in regards to being an agent that also pounds the pavement, does door knocking, goes around in the neighborhood, talks to people, have you ever found any opportunities as like a potential investor, like, hey, I might want to buy this house, and then it became a listing?
Well, yeah, you know, that's the conversation that you kind of like have with the sellers. You know, for example, the property I just bought in Lindenhurst, the seller wanted me to find an investor without showing the property. You know, so I said, you know what, that's going to be very hard. But I looked at the property. I ran the numbers. He said he was willing to let it go for 380. He's telling me this information.
Yeah.
The property renovated is worth 525 to 550.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to be ready. You have to be ready for these opportunities.
Because they will pass.
I went in there to get the listing. I said, you know what, let me promote this property. He said, you know what, David, I don't really want people coming through the door. I don't really want showings, you know. Do you have anybody you can call that may just want to buy the property as is, you know? I'm willing to let it go for 380. Ran the numbers. I said, you know what, I'm going to buy this property. I called my father. I said, Dad, you still have that 401k money, right? We've been working on your credit for the past 5 years. Let's check it in one more time, and let's see if you could get pre-approved for 380, doing 10% down from your 401k. Boom, perfect. It's gonna be a total of $50,000 to get the property, including closing costs. I told my dad, I'll match you $50,000 to renovate the property, and we own the property 50-50. Deal.
There you go.
7th property on the portfolio,
Nice.
just like that.
I will give you a high five, but we're digital. But that's awesome. I love that. I love the connection that you make with your people, and that you're always providing that opportunity to others, right? And they also have to be able to jump on it. So you have a bunch of jumpers in your circle, which is a great thing to have for sure.
Success is contagious, brother. Success is contagious. 100%. And if you surround yourself with successful people, you will be successful.
100%. So with that being said, you have investments. I know you have a real estate team. You're the CEO of it. You're the top person. You're providing leads to them. Your wife is also a realtor, and you know, working alongside you. How do you balance? What systems do you have in place in order to balance all these different things that you currently are working on? Right.
This is my system in place, bro.
There you go.
I'm always available.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The people, my agents text me 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at night. If I'm awake, I'm going to answer. I'm always going to be here for you. This is my system in place. I'm always available for my clients, for my agents, for everybody, even for my followers. If they DM me, I'm always on social media. People really think I live on this phone, when my wife doesn't like that, but it's just how I do. You know what I mean? I'm always present. I'm looking at my emails every 5 minutes. You know, I'm looking at my messages every 5 minutes. You know, I try to be very proactive with that. You know, try to be very, you know, on point with the communication. You know, some agents, sometimes you call agents, you leave them, text them, they don't get back to you 2 days later. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, no.
I can't do that.
Yeah, no. I mean, when I was in the business as well, I definitely was not like I was definitely someone that would respond pretty quickly to any DM or any text message I got. I still do that. It's like a habit. Like I feel like when my phone goes off, I look at it. I look at my watch to see what the communication is, and then I'm on it, right? But I guess that's so. In regards to follow up, right? So let's say you have someone that you met like 3 weeks ago. Do you time text messages? Do you have any CRM that you use?
Yeah, we do CRMs. We send messages here and there. We do emails here and there. We have a monthly newsletter that we send out to everybody whose email we have, and we continue to get throughout time. So again, it's just a matter of being, you know, present in people's lives as much as possible. And you could do that through CRMs. You could do that through social media. Or even during the special holidays. You know, during the holidays, we made these little presents by hand. Stefania, she bought these little balls on Amazon. We put them together at home. It took us 5 days to get all these balls together, and we physically went and dropped them off to the people that bought a house from us. And you know, those little things matter. You know, those drop-bys, and you always want to be present. You know, not only for business, but also for personal. If you ever need anything, you know, I'm here. I go play soccer. Sometimes with past clients, I say, hey, we're going to go play soccer this Saturday. You want to come? And I may see this person once a year, twice a year, but hey, when we played soccer, we had a good time. And you always got to be present in people's heads. And listen, social media, honestly, is one of the best tools available. It's free. You get to be yourself. And you kind of like, you know, the way that I structure it, Alex, is with the 3 E's. I try to educate, I try to entertain, and I execute. So those are the 3 E's. You educate, you entertain, and you execute. If you're doing these 3 things and you're just being yourself on social media, and you're entertaining people, you're educating people, and you're also executing, business is just going to come to you without you having to go look for business, because it's like a self-driving car, you know?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So now that you broke down the 3 E's, that's awesome. I actually like that a lot. So it was educate, entertain, and execute.
Right. If you hit those 3 things on social media, you will have people hitting you up for business.
That's awesome. So now that we're in 2023, right? So we're just coming off the back of this crazy sellers market where people were lining up around the block. I remember when we were in that Bayshore property and people were like in the rain, like pouring rain, waiting for properties. Now, if we do the same thing with all the same signs, I guarantee it won't be around the block anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So now that we're in the shifting market, right? What are some creative techniques that you can share with our audience to stay relevant, to stay, like, you know, getting leads and connecting with those people during a time of maybe fear, you can say, right? Because people are scared to pull the trigger because they see 7%, 6%, or whatever it may be, and they're kind of like, oh, maybe I should wait for a better time. What are some creative techniques that you're utilizing to maybe get somebody from maybe to like potential yes?
Well, again, it comes down to education. You kind of like have to do your own research and look at the facts. And social media is a platform where you can share this information to people to give them a more certainty that you are this person that they can trust for this process. If somebody is afraid because of the interest rates, you really have to be the person to be able to educate them and let them understand why is a good idea. Number one, let's say, for example, I have Tatiana and her mother. That Tatiana is paying $2,000 rent for a one-bedroom here, and the mother's paying $2,500 rent in another place. So you have to bring the facts to the table. Okay, that's already what, $4,500 that you guys are spending every month. You guys want to buy a house together. Yes, the interest rates are a little bit high, but what you do is you fall in love with the property. There was a saying that says you date the interest rate, you marry the house. You know what I'm saying? Because you find the house that you're looking for, the interest rate you can always refinance later. You can always change it. If you ever see that the interest rates go down, you refinance it, and you bring that monthly payment lower. But what people don't understand is that interest rates are higher, but is it better to buy a property with a 7% interest rate, $30,000 under asking, or buying a property at 3% interest rate, $100,000 over asking?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you really have to let people understand that if the numbers make sense, it always goes down to the numbers. If you guys are already paying $4,500 in rent, and I could get you into a property, even at 7% interest rate, at a $4,000 monthly payment,
you're saving $500 a month.
And not only saving that, but now you are buying the first property in your family. You are starting that generational wealth mentality that you're putting that money in your pocket, and if you ever sell all that money that you're paying every month, you're going to get some equity back. You're going to get some money back, and that's when you kind of like teach them how to think like an investor. Like, real estate is a business, so leave those emotions aside and get down to business. Talk to them with that certainty that you know what you're talking about, because the numbers don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just selling fake dreams here. This is real.
Yeah.
And it's a proven fact. If you look at the most successful politicians, you look at the real estate portfolios. That's where they have most of their money. Bloomberg, he has billions of dollars worth of real estate. Trump, millions of dollars worth of real estate. Why? Because real estate is a safe place to build equity, to hold equity, it's real property,
Yeah, no. Real value. So I mean, those are really good points. I like the fact that you kind of educate your clients to also kind of taking responsibility for their investment, right? So you're also training them to not just be an emotional buyer, but you're training them to look at the numbers. You're training them to basically become a better version of themselves through the process of real estate, which I think is a refreshing approach, because a lot of people kind of come into this industry, sell. They don't really care about what that person is going to be going through or what that person is expecting. I like the fact that you're kind of breaking down that process and also boiling it down to the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Being able to break down the numbers is super duper important, especially like that point that you said, would you rather get a 3% interest rate and pay $100,000 more, or get a, a 7% interest rate and lowball them $30,000, $40,000, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, it makes sense.
And that's the market that we're going into. That's the buyer's market. This is when you go there and you try to negotiate because there's not a lot of competition, you know?
Yeah. So, and this time you would definitely say buyers are the way to go. Obviously, you can work with sellers as well. Listings, I think, are great, but you just have to be able to prepare them on the fact that we're not getting above asking anymore like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say, you have to be honest, be very honest with people and just, again, grab them by the hand in a way where they feel like you're treating them like family. And again, I really put myself in everybody's shoes. So what I try to do is, I when I talk to my clients, I talk to them like, really, like, if I was you, this is what I would do.
Hmm.
And then I've been proving to know, I guess, what I'm doing. Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, because you have to have that mentality. Again, you have to run the numbers. A lot of these people tell me, listen, like, yeah, and I have a cousin, he wants to move in with me. Well, great. Listen, maybe we could find you a mother daughter. Look, your cousin could pay for half of your mortgage, and now you're not going to pay 4,000. Now you're going to pay 1,800 because
Yeah.
your cousin's going to take the other apartment. Boom. Who's
That's it.
making all the profit? You're the homeowner. You're
There
the
you
investor.
Yeah, so that, I mean, I love that. I love that. So, man, thank you so much.
My pleasure,
If you
brother.
guys want to follow him, go check him out at David the Closer. He's right there on. Oh, and up there.
I'm in my screen is up here.
It's over there. Yeah. So go follow him at David the Closer on Instagram. He's really active there. He's always sharing great content. And then you can also follow his team and his brokerage at Executive Line Real Estate.
Nice. Executive real estate.
Okay, executive real estate. So there you go. That's the handles. I will definitely put that in the description
Thank
below.
you, brother. And go follow the cabin too, Mount Zurich.
Yeah,
It's
man. I'm sorry.
beautiful.
When I tell you this place is beautiful, I've never seen a window like it. And they came together and they showed like the behind the scenes of it. It was freaking awesome.
When you're here, brother, we're going out there. When are you guys coming?
We're probably coming late April, so we'll definitely
We're
hit you
in there. Let me know when, and we out to the Poconos, man. I put a jacuzzi that fits 8 people, so we'll be chilling in the jacuzzi.
That's what I'm talking about, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and go check out David the Closer. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's always providing value. So go check him out. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.